At the end of the day, a website serves a purpose. And the purpose of the website is the way we see it is to uplift the brand and the brand positioning, i.e., to show up well, to be beautiful, defend and support our positioning, and to generate money. We want it to generate money. And so when we can deliver on those goals faster and easier, it's a no-brainer. Honestly, I would tell you, if more people experience Onepage, they wouldn't leave.
Hey, Ricky, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Art?
Doing well. Thanks so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to us a little bit about your business, Homeowner Marketers. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. To give us a little bit of context, I believe Homeowner Marketers is sort of a US-based ad agency that helps trade businesses add to their top line revenue through Facebook and Instagram ads. But yeah, tell me a little bit more about your business, sort of who you serve and how you came up with this business idea and how long you've been in business.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Art. So I started Homeowner Marketers about 2 years ago. And so before I started Homeowner Marketers, I was a marketing executive at home service businesses. So both these businesses, and that was about over a span of 7.5, 8 years. And both of these businesses were doing anywhere between 20 million, 60 million annual revenue. So if you can imagine managing the marketing and the marketing team for these organizations, I'd worked with many marketing partners. Many of them learned a great deal from them. But again, as you work with so many marketing agencies, you kind of learn the landscape. You learn where are agencies really strong and where do agencies have the opportunity to improve. And the last company I was at, I got exposed to the painting industry, which I really started to enjoy working in that industry. And so we service all the trades, but I'll say that's kind of how Homeowner Marketers got our start, is really working with mostly painting companies. But now we work with decking companies, modeling companies, gutter companies. And so it's just a tremendous opportunity to help these trades companies show up the way homeowners want them to show up in their marketing. And so as my business started as a Facebook and ads Instagram agency, I've realized that these trades business owners, they need more. They need a growth partner. They need a growth agency. And so we've actually made a transition from being just a Facebook and Instagram ads agency to being a full growth partner where they're actually getting appointment setting. They're getting a full suite and reporting into something you log into where you can actually see what's my cost per job booked, what audiences and what ads are actually driving the revenue and the appointments. These things are critically important, especially as you want to spend more and more money as a trades business. And so we've put that reporting in place. We've put our CRM in place, and the appointment setting is super important because hiring the right people takes time. And also how these leads are being handled is critically important when you're investing in advertising. And so we've wanted to come along businesses and just take this off their plate until they're at a point where they're like, you know what, I do want to go ahead and put someone in my business who can, usually like an office manager or some sort of administrative role. And then they can kind of choose, do I still want Homeowner Marketers to help me set up these appointments or do I want this person to take it over? And so it's really been fun to take risks, invest into being a growth partner instead of just helping just generate, the leads. And that's what we're doing. And it's a lot of fulfillment in it.
Thanks. That definitely sets the landscape for this conversation. And it's interesting to hear how you've grown from sort of just like an ad agency to a sort of full stack, if you will, growth marketer for these trades business. And I would have to imagine, I don't know a lot about this space, but I'd have to imagine this is a much needed service. The trades business aren't well known for, having digital chops, right? So you're here to help them with that. I would guess that that's probably the case most of the time.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of adoption towards digital now, but what you don't see is what's leaking out of the funnel and how that's affecting their cash. And so that's kind of the first thing we did. We built this agency is try to get them the leads, because some of these people, just their biggest obstacle to growth is just not having enough appointments, which
Right.
at the source of that is leads, right? But then in order to kind of get to a different revenue level, you have to have a clear understanding through your data to see, okay, what audiences, which ads, which channels are actually performing to help me do that. It's, of course, we're going to have to spend more money, but you also want to spend more money methodically. I think there needs to be more growth agencies out there for the trades. And I know there's a lot of good ones, or a lot of good like specific website and SEO agencies. There's a lot of specific like Facebook and Instagram ad agencies, but in regards to growth agencies that are really revenue focused and have great reporting, I'm not in a sea by myself, but there's not too many of us.
Yeah, it's definitely a niche business, but a big niche. The home service business is huge and growing, I'm sure. Again, don't know too much about the space, but it sounds like you've built really like a full stack solution, from targeting to appointment setting and so much more. If you could pin down one piece of that puzzle that makes the biggest impact for your clients, what would you say that is right now?
Yeah, I would say understanding how to build lead generation programs that connect with the homeowners that turn into leads. Because what it's creating is not just appointments, it's creating hope and that they can scale their business the way they want, which hope is contagious. And it really helps. It gives you kind of freedom to, not stress, and you can continue to solve other problems in your business, whether it be sales or production, financial management, or you know I would say that's probably enough. I think I would say that's the one that they care about the most. And then at least when they're coming to us, we do have some companies who come to us and say, look, like nothing was broken with the other partner, but we want someone who's a bit more flexible and a bit more strategic.
Right.
Who maybe they want a specific kind of positioning with a higher end client. Well, that takes thought. We have to slow down and think about, how are we going to create these ads? How are we going to set up the ad account? And so, yeah.
Awesome. So let's pivot a little bit and talk about the sort of front side of your business, which is, for a lot of business these days, a website, which you have. It's my understanding that, you've built your website completely with Onepage, but prior to Onepage, you were using a different piece of software to build and manage your website. Can you tell me about some of the frustrations that you had with that service?
Yeah. So the CMS that Art is referring to is probably the most popular. I would say at the moment, it's rumored that you can't have positive SEO unless you're using this CMS, which is not true. And no disrespect to the world's biggest, I would say, probably content management system where so many sites are built on. But from a design perspective, I wanted to have more easily control over sites that we build. And in a lot of these content management systems that are out there, even though they're advertised as like what you see is what you get, very plug and play, drag and drop, it's not always the case, especially when you're trying to optimize for tablet and mobile. It's harder. You have to have rudimentary or moderate level of coding knowledge to be able to do that. And then bugs happen, and then you have to be able to solve those. And plugins are helpful, but they also are like children that constantly need to be fed. And so there's a lot that goes to building a website that way. And at the end of the day, a website serves a purpose. And the purpose of the website is, the way we see it, is to uplift the brand and the brand positioning, i.e. to show up well, to be beautiful, defend and support our positioning, and to generate money. We want it to generate money. And so when we can deliver on those goals faster and easier, it's a no-brainer. Honestly, I would tell you, if more people experience Onepage, they wouldn't leave. So not only did I work with that, CMS that I was referring to, also worked in, tried to build, sites through very popular kind of CRM platforms. One of the biggest, it's 3 letters, and like you could build sites easily, but then my other constraint was okay, this is as easy as one page, but man, it's not as nice. Like it feels like a funnel, but it's not as nice. And there's something to be said about when you go to an agency website and it's still like, okay, these guys are legit. Like these guys, like not only do they have like some trust data and I can see, different clients that they're working with, but this is a professional website and this looks legit. Like you want that. I want that. And whether these prospective clients who we speak to or our setters and closers speak to, whether the people they're talking to are saying it, they are looking at it. Maybe even just to look at pricing, I don't know, but they're looking and they're judging and they're assessing, is this company going to help me get what I want?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. And, we hear, over and over again that, the sort of same sort of stripes, I guess, with other software. You have to manage all these plugins. There's, a ton of different things that you need to do to keep the website constantly fixed and updated and patched and secure and fast. And, at the end of the day, you end up feeling like you're just maintaining your site to keep it working rather than, adding features to your site to make it better, make it more attractive, update your pricing. So you're sort of like fixing things instead of making your site better. I think you also talked about just, the site has to look great, which your site does. We'll pull it up here in a second. It has to be mobile first, or if not mobile first, mobile responsive for sure. So many people, especially who are coming from ad platforms on social media, are on their phones and they have to have a great experience. It has to, it has to be fast, it has to look good, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and actually pull up your site. We could take a look at what you've built here with Onepage. Sure. We can just go through some of the things that you built, and you could talk about, everything that we're seeing on the page. So I have your page up here. Hopefully you're seeing it. I really like this like hero that's front and center, big, bold, in your face lettering with underline that really, tells the value of what you're offering. It answers objections. You have this nice scroller down here. But yeah, maybe just walk me through this page a little bit and tell me about the different elements that you built, sort of your thought process for putting this site together.
Yeah. So one is I wanted it to be very easy to, like, not too many colors, not too much going on. You can see like my call to action buttons aren't like bright red or bright yellow. Yeah. I use a lot of black, a lot of black and light grays. And so I wanted a very clean, almost clinical kind of feel, but I wanted them to also know through our words, like, we're serious about what we do, and this is what you could experience and get to. At the top, I think it's just really important, no matter what site you're building, that people don't have to scroll to understand exactly like what site they're on or like what people do on the site that they're on. And so that's why I've intentionally put copy in the hero. Yes, I could put photos, I could put videos. Look, like, people are impatient. And so a lot of research supports, like, just tell them what we do. And one of the most powerful things you can say is how you add revenue to people's bottom lines. And that's it. That is what we do. So it's true. So yeah. And then just showing client logos is, I think it's a way for you to show, credibility without having to say anything, which I think when they're coming to your site, that is a goal that you want to have. So that's why I put that there. I like that the scrolling feature is there. This is like a feature that's available on Onepage. It's awesome. Like, they have that. You can like change the size, the spacing in between the logos. You can change the speed. I wouldn't have thought to do that, and that kind of, I'll tell you this real quick. Like, a lot of the things I've done, like the underline in the hero, this scrolling thing, some of these icons, they have all these sections and they have them in like section categories, and you can like quickly add them in and kind of see them. And you're like, hey, I like that. I like that for saying this. And that's really awesome. It's hard from a design standpoint to think through things, let alone figure out how to do them. But you don't have to think through things, and you definitely don't have to figure out from a coding perspective, like, how do we make this work? It just happens. And then, like, when you look on the mobile view, it actually looks good. Like, a lot of times, let's say you're trying to find like a website template on like Template Monster for one of the common CMSs. Like, they look beautiful on desktop, and then you look at it on mobile and it needs work. It's not that it looks terrible, it just needs work. And like, who knows how to do that work in those CMSs? I will say this is how I relate to that. Like, we know how to do a lot of that work. That's not a high leverage activity for us, right? So we're after, like, you can see here, like what we're about. And so we're always trying to balance as an agency, like, what are high leverage actions to meet our company goals and have more impact on our clients. And so you just kind of have to pick and choose what is high leverage and what isn't. Yeah, that's a little bit about what we're seeing here. If you want to scroll down, I can explain a few more things. So a little testimonial from one of my clients. You keep going. Also, there's a cookie banner. They've got different cookie banner options for compliance. Obviously, it's really important. And then I share like systems. If you keep scrolling down, there's like all these different aspects of our system. What's great about using Onepage is, like, again, I didn't think about this design and I think it's like too long and too much, but I know like they have what I'm going to redesign this section to have less, and they're going to probably have 10 different ways that I can do that. And I'm not going to have to think about any of it. I just get to have fun with like, hey, let's try doing it this way. And they're beautiful designs. That's actually why I started with Onepage years ago. Is I loved the way that they're like these templatized sections that,
Yep.
you know, yeah, they're like the sections, and then like they have all these templates inside their sections, and all the templates, like, they genuinely look good. Like, you can tell that designers are good who are putting those together. It doesn't look cookie cutter. It's like clean. You can even see on this one, like, there's drop shadows behind the boxes. Like,
Right.
it's thoughtful.
Yeah, and I just want to say for anyone who's watching this who, you know, might not know all the lingo or have all the context, you know, Onepage allows you to, you know, create a site from a template. It allows you to create a site from scratch, or you could create a site from a template, delete certain sections or components that you don't like, and then you can add pre-built and pre-designed sections and objects into the page that are, you know, designed by the Onepage team, and then you can further edit those beyond the initial design as well. So if you maybe don't like the drop shadow, or you want the text to be a different color, all those little minute changes are completely possible within the Onepage platform. But what I'm hearing from you is like, hey, I'm finding these like beautiful sections. I'm sort of just like adding them to my page. And guess what? In 3 months, when, you know, my business changes a little bit, I want to redo the section, I have a whole array of beautifully designed sections and components that I can add into my page. And I really like, by the way, as you sort of scroll through these pages, how these sections are, you know, really easy to see the sort of contrast between the sections, right? You've got this sort of like white here in the hero with the clean text. You come in here to testimonial, you got the dark, then we're back to light. It looks really good and it flows really well. But yeah, continue on.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think you just made a good point. Like, our businesses, we come out with new products or services, or we've got updates, or we're just trying to refresh. Like, do you want that to be a massive lift if you don't have a development team, you know?
Right.
Or if you do have a development team, but you want them focused on client projects, like, do you want that to be a massive lift? Again, it comes back to, you know, the highest leverage activities for your agency. And when I relate to doing work on my website, I actually get really excited about it because it's not above my challenge skills ratio now, it's like 4 to 5% for me. It's like, if it's 4 to 5% above, you know, it takes a ton of time, you know, and I actually genuinely enjoy working on my own site. I have not outsourced this. And of course, as an agency owner, that probably sounds nuts that I haven't outsourced it, but I genuinely enjoy working on this site. I actually look forward to doing work on it. I get a lot of like inspiration from doing it because I just like working within the Onepage IO. It's kind of like, I'm not going to drop the brand's name, but it's kind of like that brand out there that is a fruit. And when you buy a new laptop that just came out, it like, you can't put it down. You just love using it so much. And you just feel like you're full of infinite possibilities. And I kid you not, like, Onepage, like, it's just fun. And then you can put things like live. And so like my wall of wins page, if you click that for me, Art, like, I built this page in 2 hours. Now I had to get like, you know, some screenshots and build some of these images in Canva, but like, you keep scrolling down, like, it's easy. The header navigation was a global section. You can create global sections that you can just quickly add in. It's really easy to add in sections. It's really easy to move sections up, move sections down. Yeah. Also, something we haven't even talked about is they've got like a whole like CRM and nurture capability where like people can fill out forms and I can send out auto texts. Additionally, something I'm getting ready to take advantage of is they've got quiz like forms and quiz funnels. I think quiz funnels are a higher end experience and asking for customer information. And I think from the moment they decide to discover your business, we want to be trying to deliver as many delightful experiences as we can. And I love that they have that quiz funnel and multi-step form kind of capability, and they're really nice and cool.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this page. I love the wall of wins. It looks really good. It grabs your eye, and you can like very quickly scan this and just see sort of testimonial after testimonial from actual clients in the form of text message, which is a really great way to show it. By the way, with the, like sort of the playful juxtaposition of the emojis, it's really, really cool. And I think you touched on a ton there. We won't get into it all, but yeah, the ability to create multi-step forms or funnels or quizzes, whatever you want to call them, within your site is super powerful, and it definitely enhances that client experience, makes it delightful. Like you mentioned, you can sync all that data into our CRM, or using Onepage, you can sync it to third-party tools, third-party CRMs. You can use tools like Zapier and automation and all that kind of stuff, all within Onepage. And it sounds like you're using some of that as well. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll stop sharing this now. Thanks again for walking through your site with us today. Just a couple final questions here. What tips might you have for other agencies or home services businesses building out, high converting landing pages in Onepage or elsewhere?
Yeah, so we're actually looking to come out with a product that does just that, not just for our Facebook ads, but actually just sites. So one of the biggest for the trades, some of the sites just don't look good enough, and they're wondering why they're having challenges booking appointments or selling jobs. It's because they're just not showing up well enough in their marketing, or just assuming people don't go to their website. Many people go to websites. And so to be able to stand up a site quickly and beautifully means that people don't have to pay a lot of money, and we can add a ton of impact and value immediately. And so my first piece of advice is think differently. If you haven't used Onepage, think differently and just get access and try building a site. I'm telling you, that's what did it for me. I was like, wow, this is so easy. This level of quality, this easy at this price. No brainer.
Yeah.
It is also my site's never gone down. I've never had a single technical issue with my website. Now, I'm not saying Onepage doesn't have issues. Frankly, I haven't built enough Onepage sites to maybe experience the amount you need to have issues, but I will tell you, I've never had a single issue on my website. Never even had a notification that there was it just seems incredibly stable. So first word of advice is just discover it. Think differently and discover it. Especially if your clients have a need. And this may not, again, we're a growth agency. So do we build websites for a living? No, we don't. But when we see a need and it will help us help them quickly, and we can quickly slot it in, because it's high leverage with client trust. If we can give them a really, as seen, expensive, quality, important marketing product at a lower cost in a short amount of time, that builds huge leverage and goodwill for your client, especially when you're delivering your other core services. So I'm trying to think about that, in addition to, just the economics of it all. So I've already said the first one, think different, and just discover it. If you've got any cognitive dissonance, I would say number two is look at a lot of they have a lot of examples of sites that are already live. Look through their portfolio and look up some of these sites online. You'll be impressed. You're like, wow, that's a Onepage site. That looks there's another CMS company that's got all this what do they call it? Art, all the motion, you know what I mean? Yep. And so it looks beautiful. These sites look beautiful like that. And they've got a lot of different variety, a lot. There's a lot of variety, and there's a lot of some people come in and do a few custom things. Something I haven't shared is they have all these different like sections and templates within those sections. But then within that, like you can add custom HTML. So like, let's say, I don't know, you find like some sort of design that has an HTML, like you can implement that. You can copy and paste that in there. Even if you're not a website builder, you've got to understand how to copy and paste, can't you? So I'd probably say that. Or I mean, I think once people like discover it and get inspired by like what can be built, you have to decide, can this be powerful for my business
Right.
on what we're doing today? And I think if the answer is yes, then what does it hurt to try it and to see if you can build yourself some leverage? If the answer is no, then maybe building websites is not for you, but everyone needs a website. Use it for your own website like I am.
Yeah, that's great advice. You can get into Onepage, and that's what I would recommend too, by the way, is just get into Onepage, start building things. You can, publish on a Onepage domain for free. You can basically try most of the website builder. Some of the advanced form and funnel features are a paid add-on. But if you just want to get in and see like, hey, will this work for my business? Does this look good? Can I build something that's compelling for myself or for a client? The best way to learn is just by doing, right? So get in there, try it out, see if it works for your business. And at the end of the day, you might have something that is, super beautiful, super powerful, converts clients, makes money, gets more leads, whatever your end sort of business goal is. So
one other thing that I really loved about Onepage when I started, which was years ago, it can sometimes get difficult in CMSs to figure out like how to implement pixel code. Like sometimes the plugins don't work correctly, or sometimes you're pasting them in the wrong place. You don't know where the header code is. And after you made that mistake a couple of times, you kind of figure that out. But if you don't want to figure that out and spend hours, figure that out by yourself, it's so easy. So like inside the Onepage backend, you can quickly like paste your pixel. You can from Meta, that's what I'm saying, your Meta pixel. You can quickly paste your Google Analytics, for like, they've got these different like fields. They've done the thinking, like everything you'd want to connect to your site, just enter in these codes, and they give you instructions on where to find the codes. And then that's all you have to do. It's so nice. And then on the domain side, it's so easy. Like it's so easy to connect your domain to, like that can be a bit of an arduous process working with, typical CMS providers, and propagation can take long as well. It was so easy.
I think that the final question I have for you is, you've obviously talked about some other tools that you've used in the past. You're using Onepage, it sounds like happily for your business right now. How critical would you say Onepage is right now to your current workflow? And has it enabled you to do things that weren't possible before with the previous solution that you were using?
Yes, I have much tighter control over my own marketing as an agency. I also have full confidence to run Facebook ads to my site, or to be able to set up like a landing page, and to know how to do that just gives you more flexibility. And that's what I was really after. I was after flexibility without sacrificing quality or time. So, and I was able to get that with Onepage. I actually haven't spent less money. I've spent more money with Onepage. And so I don't see myself leaving. And I actually just got a notification that you guys have come out with all these new things around. I mean, there's just tons of new things Onepage just came out with. One of the ones I'm super excited about is they have all these SEO enhancements. So let me tell you this, if you're on the fence of trying Onepage because one, you've never heard of it, or two, you've been told that there's only one or two CMSs to use for really good SEO to rank number one, think again, because Onepage has invested, it would appear, quite a bit of time and effort into really best practice SEO, building a site on Onepage.
Yeah, and the tools should hopefully be getting better. And I really, just to touch on one final thing, I love what you talk about with like the pixel and the Google Analytics fields to enter that information, and it just syncs right up, even the domain name service propagation. Like these things can get really tedious, and they can just like suck up your time. And like you sort of mentioned, these are not high leverage activities. Like you just want to do it, have it connect, have it work, and then be able to track your marketing data. And I'm really happy to hear that this was just super easy for you to set up. You didn't have to really think about it. It's just there, it works. There's really no second guessing, even with the domain stuff, which can get a little bit complex sometimes for some people, for sure. So, hey, Ricky, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about your business and your process behind building your website with Onepage. We really appreciate your time. We know it's valuable. We will be sure to link to your business page in the show notes in case anybody wants to check it out. But really just appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chat with us today.
You bet, Art. I appreciate Onepage, and it's been nice to get to know you personally as well. So yeah, guys, check out Onepage. Again, it's not going to take you long to discover the tool. You're going to quickly see whether it's for you or it's not for you. And it's for me. I mean, it's so easy to use. So go check it out.
Cool. Hey, thanks so much.